엉망진창이던 우리가 바로 어제 같아. 나의 하얀 favorite socks 한참을 보던 너 눈은 아주 장난기가 굵직했었지. 어떤 순간은 왜 특히 강렬한 걸까. 이상해 소중해 all magical timeline. 기억하니 그 연습실 We were dancing, we were singing, we were dreaming. 내가 틀려서 너도 틀려 우리 멈춰 그냥 웃어 yeah. 한 예쁜 in our heart and body. 한 번뿐인 our life and party. 엉망진창이던 우리가 바로 어제 같아. 한 예쁜 in our heart and body. 부끄러운 일은 두고두고 곱씹어 입에서 완전히 녹아 사라질 때까지 끝없이 나와줘야 하는 건 좀 슬퍼. 그러긴 겪을래 다시 난 오는 지금. 기억하지 저 backstage 우린 떨지 너는 묻지 Would you help me. 널 안으면 소리 들려 빠른 heartbeat 환한 손빔 yeah.
Try. Good evening. That's better. Right. Right. Yes. Hello. Sorry about that. I clearly confused everything with my laptop today. Oh yes, I should sort out the mouse pointer as well. Yes, my laptop has a new microphone in it and it doesn't work properly. But since it was me that broke the microphone, I'm not necessarily going to try to persuade Dell to replace it again. But I do have a new screen, which means that everything is much shinier than it used to be. Right, I need to find the button that makes my mouse pointer bigger because I forgot that bit. And then we can get on with this new version of Dwarf Fortress. So this, it looks exactly the same as the old version of Dwarf Fortress. It's but it is a new major version, version 53. And what this version brings us is new siege mechanics, and at least one very odd item in the in the release notes. So the major siege new mechanics are that invaders can build things, stairs and floors, they can break down constructions, they can bring battering rams, they can dig through natural walls, and they have the ability to remember where they died last time, and try to dodge it next time, as in where previous ones died. And they can release creatures from cages as well, which is kind of entertaining because we've got an et in here. I wonder what's going to happen with that. And then there's the more recent version, which I have to read the first. So that was 52.01, 53.01. 53.02 had a bunch of minor bug fixes, including hospital patients and babies don't shut off the brains of people carrying them. Again. I don't quite understand what that one means, but we'll see. So Steph asks, I say, where did all your dwarves come from? We had a wave of immigrants for the first time in ages. Once I think I had got rid of enough of the caged goblin invaders. So we're going to try not to cage so many goblin invaders in the future, or possibly we will in order to keep the numbers down. So yes, so we are expecting that future goblin invasions or sieges might be a bit different from what we've seen. On the other hand, I think this fortress is better suited than most to dealing with them, in part because I knew this feature was coming sometime soon. Because, like, the classic dwarf fortress approach is to make your fortress utterly impregnable. You have because you can make a solid wall and no goblin can get through it. If you have a drawbridge, no goblin can get through that. No one can, while trolls can destroy doors and can destroy some floor hatches, they can generally not destroy floor hatches from below. So you can even make doors that can be effectively doors that can be perfectly sealed by having a complicated U-bend arrangement. And of course, a fortress that depended solely on that would be horribly vulnerable. But we're not depending solely on that. We're trying to herd the goblins into traps, and we're using a river which will take them quite a while to bridge. So I think actually our biggest problem is this large, dense area of traps here, because if they start trying to avoid that, then they'll start crossing the river by other means, and that might be unfortunate. Oh yeah, I wonder if that tree is how they can cross the river. Oh no, it doesn't. Yeah, those trees around there kind of join up across the river. I wonder if they can climb over there. Anyway, so I think there is some danger, but I think we're slightly more, slightly better prepared than your typical fortress, because we haven't been depending on the goblins not being able to do the things they can now do. But we'll see. Yes. All of this, there are a bunch of new settings for this, hidden under difficulty. So currently we have it set to some custom thing, and I don't think I deliberately changed anything. So I think I might explicitly set this back to the standard hard setting, however that differs. But in particular, there's we have these new options for invaders being able to do various things, and how much they'll try to avoid places that have caused them to die. So we'll see what that does. I'm going to switch this to explicitly hard mode rather than whatever custom settings I had before. So yes, I think it's currently early summer, but we've just had the summer goblin siege, so it's going to be 3 months before anything happens, and usually it's the summer one, I think, that's by far the biggest. So we will unpause and then go, what are these messages? A human caravan has arrived. Excellent. So we did have one interesting thing, which was we were trying to find goblin cages, except I reckon now we probably have quite a lot of those. Because I think a bunch of goblins did get caged as a result, yes, of the invasion of the siege, because we do still have some cage traps around. We try to discourage them from ending up in cages, but we prefer them to end up dead. Some of them have landed in cages. Why is that cage forbidden, I wonder? We're going to keep the Etin in its cage, though. I mean, I think it would be entertaining if the goblins let it out and it immediately kills them. So, yeah, we've got like 3 fresh goblin cages. I think the copper one, that one is the one that we're a bit confused by. That's probably underwater somewhere, but we're not certain. So, let's see what we can build if we try to go build restraint cage, carrying on with releasing goblins from out here somewhere. There's 1 nickel goblin cage. I think the copper one is one of the copper ones. Oh, they don't seem to be unreachable. Well, let's try to construct them all. And like, we'll see what happens. We also seem to have a giant hamster cage, which like probably means that there's a giant hamster that has gone wild. So I think there are no more goblins under copper. No. I mean, all being well, the cages we want. Oops! I think I just accidentally constructed a random alder cage. Let's cancel that. We've reached alder in the list. Round lime, no. Lead, no. Coffee wood, no. Oaken, no. Right, okay, so we have 3 goblin cages left. Sorry, everything is things are happening on my on IRC, which is yes. Let me catch up a bit. Blah 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 blah. Thing. Right. Yes. Oh, I was unpaused while I was catching up on IRC, which none of which relates to Dwarf Fortress, so it doesn't really matter. So, damn it! I had a thing that I was thinking of, and now I've forgotten it. Oh well. Oh yes, we should get some stuff to trade with the humans. Not that I suspect they have very much that we want, but also I'm wondering if we should actually start making some deliberate efforts in the direction of learning how to use crossbows, because we could sell those socks. Hang on, no, we don't want to sell those socks. Those socks are all in good condition. Sell the terrible ones. Probably anything that's at distance 0 is unlikely. Oh, that one we should sell. That's probably enough. Let's mark any others that contain things. So we did buy a bunch of socks from the from the elves, as I recall. But yeah, we early in this game, there was some annoying bug in Dwarf Fortress 50 or 51 that was that meant that training use of ranged weapons didn't work quite right, and so I deliberately avoided it. But like, we're a fair distance from that now, and possibly having the ability to kill people who are trying to build bridges across our river from a distance might be helpful. Oh, we also want to train one of our new, yes, you. We want you to learn how to swim, don't we? We also want it to be slightly harder to accidentally kill people climbing out of the swimming pool. Let's check, is the drain open? Yes, it is. So we want to close the drain first. So I think we should possibly do that by making it less tempting to climb out of the swimming pool by building a floor across the whole of the top of it so you can't climb out of the swimming pool. It seems like the most sensible approach to this, which shouldn't be too hard. I can just say, hello, please build some floor over all of this. And we seem to build everything out of gypsum blocks at the moment. Actually, I use last material. Right, there we go. Oh, excellent. One of my another leopard has been trained. Right. So meanwhile, we can definitely... Oh, have we closed that yet? Yes. We can definitely flood it once at least. Actually, we need to lower that first, don't we? Yes. And then raise it. And that will then move the water into the right place. So yes, if we're going to... I think actually what I should try doing, because I want to see if this works, is taking one of my new squads, say the Oceanic Calm, and can I then... How do I do this? That just takes me to the person. That's unhelpful. I have to remember how this horrible, horrible interface works. It's been improved, but it's still horrible. I don't click on any of those. Details would allow me to change one person. Do I create that, then save it as a uniform? So I think what I should do is I should then add another weapon and add crossbow. And for now, then we can have that as I mean, they're not quite marked dwarves because they'll still have individual choice as well. I'll save that as a new uniform. I then go assign uniform marked dwarves. Right, that resets everyone. And then if I unpause that, they should then start finding new things, right? And you have now given yourself a melee weapon and a crossbow. Well, that seems like a pretty good situation then. We probably want them having wooden crossbows simply for weight reasons, but I don't know that we've got enough wooden crossbows at the moment. Have we got any wood? Yeah, we've got some wood. We can make a bunch of wooden crossbows if I can remember what the what kind of building you make them at. So is that flooded yet? No. No one's built any of that floor either. Meh. So, yes, so we could, I suppose I don't have to work out what it is done it, I just add it here and we see what happens. Right, make me 10 wooden crossbows, please, and then we will insist that they use wooden crossbows. So, how are we doing with these? Oh, right, we've got someone here installing a goblin cage and another one. And a third one, it looks like. The mayor has been re-elected, which is probably good. There's a leopard cub in the signal box.
I was about to say, that there's a leopard cub in the percolator, which would be quite disturbing.
No, signal box, much more sensible place to have a leopard cub. Right, now if we pull this lever again, that will then flood this room. We will lock the door so that the person who we're trying to train to swim can't escape.
I suppose you can't put warning signs on objects in this game.
No, not really.
That's a shame. I mean, if ever you had a good excuse for beware of the leopard.
Yes, yes, it's true. But we don't want people to beware of the leopards. We want them to be surprised by the leopards. Right, so we now have 3 goblin cages there, which we can link up to our traditional goblin releasing lever. Obviously, we could wait for the next. We could try. It now occurs to me, waiting for the next goblin siege and seeing if those goblins get released and join the siege and thus get munched by the goblin killing machinery. But
Unless they're the wrong civilization, in which case they'll get released. And
yeah, I think we'll do it. We'll do it the traditional way for now.
I was wondering about that essay as well. I mean,
Yeah, I'm leaving that one there. I'm not releasing that.
there's no guarantee if the goblins let it out, it'll like them.
No, it almost certainly won't. So if they do, then they will be very unhappy. All right, here comes some dwarves to build new bits of floor to make it harder to climb out of the swimming pool. I think one of them just ran away. Possibly there was something scary up here. Interrupted by an agitated giant horned owl. Let's find it on the task lists. A bunch of other people doing things though, it'll be fine. Unsuspend that one. Sorry, resume that one. So, right, and now the swimming pool is flooded so that this recruit, whom I've lost, this recruit can learn to swim, we hope. Happily, Dwarf Fortress does not yet have real rust, and so the random bits of steel armour that are lying around in there won't rust just because I filled the place with water. Right. So how's that order for wooden crossbows coming? does the system know what's going on with that? We at least have the task scheduled. I mean, admittedly, we possibly need someone to get really good at making wooden crossbows first. Or possibly we should have made bone crossbows. I think you can make bone ones, and they're about the same weight. And well, bones are easier to get than wood, because cutting down trees annoys animals, whereas whereas killing animals curiously annoys them less. Anyway, let us get our trader to come to the trade depot when they next have a chance. Our broker to come to the trade depot when we next have a chance. Right, and that is getting built. People are trying to use logic at me. Yeah, I can't see has our recruit climbed out of there? Oh well, we'll make it impossible for them to do it again. I think this recruit is annoying in that they're good at climbing, as though they keep getting out of the swimming pool. Right, good night, Claire. Or possibly I should have read those messages. Oh well. Well, we'll wait until we've got that floor in place, and then we'll try to make this. Actually, no, we may as well. So, is there anyone in here anymore, or have they left? I think they've left by climbing up the walls. Apart from the one hand who was Thithal, who is not the person we're trying to teach to swim, because they can swim perfectly adequately already. Right, okay, let's unlock that door then and let them get out and drain the water out. And then we'll have another go. This time with a roof. I mean, we probably don't actually have to wall it in quite so enthusiastically, but we need a hatch, don't we? But if we do seal it up properly, then that makes it as likely as we can have it that the dwarves won't be able to clamber out. Do you have any really nice hatch covers? No, all our hatch covers are rubbish. So now we need to, oh gods, we need to remember how to set that up. So I think I know how I want to do it. Have I correctly reduced the size of the library? No, the library's still you occupying all of that space, and that's on the wrong side of a wall now. I mean, it doesn't matter very much, but I have other uses for that space. Is that right? I want to take off another row. No, that's the wall. We should leave the wall in, because that helps with improving the value of the space. Right. Oh, except it can't really run that far north. That's just wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. Remove those two squares. Right. Because I think we should make this area into an archery range, because it's obviously the right shape for it. I think that works. So if let's try it. Can I then, how do we build targets? Military archery target, right. Let's build some microcline archery targets. I don't know if we want to have them right back up against the wall, but... Oh, I have this vague feeling that the correct thing to do is to have a thing whereby they can fall down. I wonder on which side of the target we want them to be able to fall down. Let's go for putting them one square in front of the wall, and then we'll see what happens. I could read the wiki on this, but I'm sure I'll be able to work it out. What's on that square? Oh, right, someone's left a scroll there, yes. Put that back in the library proper.
You should move the library out from under it first, there.
True. Right, and now our recruit has come back in here. And most of the floor has been built. Just a few that where someone probably got scared off by the wildlife. Let's close the drain while we're waiting for that to be sorted. And since no one is currently trying to climb out, we can also pull the fill lever back into that state, because that's safe. Oh, and we should probably switch the mountains of gravel also to use Mark's Dwarves armour. Which will now mean that they spend a lot of time faffing around finding their clothes. Right. Meanwhile, have we got someone here? Yes, we have. Let's see what they can trade. Do they have anything we want? Well, they've got some materials we haven't seen before, not that we really care. They'll have some raw glass in case someone has a use for it. Think we're still a bit short on flasks and water skins and such like. So we'll have those. I don't think we've ever seen a Dakar before. Or a luto. I will keep buying musical instruments. Then we should possibly at some point pay attention to the musical instruments. Oh, we could have a black bear, not as good as a grizzly though. Don't know if you can train black bears for war, and we would need a breeding pair in order to make it stable. We'll buy some of your booze simply because you bring booze we might not otherwise have. You almost certainly don't have any interesting weaponry or armour, because it'll all be the wrong size. The armour will all be the wrong size, and the weaponry will all be made of bronze. And like we do have standards.
I was just confused by the selenite they were selling, and I looked it up and discovered that, confusingly, it has nothing to do with selenium.
Right. Does have something to do with the moon?
From historical misunderstanding, yes.
Right.
People historically believed the mineral waxed and waned.
Ah,
I don't know
cute.
why they believed that or what made any sense, but
We probably don't need any meat. We still have 22,000 food. And I think we've probably got enough quivers.
Ah, but selenite is best cut into cabochons, so your dwarfs should be able to do that.
Yeah, they like cabochons. We'll buy cheese though. We often buy cheese. Right. Oh, and we'll have some parchment in case we can work out how to use it at some point. Right. Let us sell our worn out clothes. I mean, not that many of our dwarves wear ordinary clothes, because most of them wear armour. Not least because that makes them a bit more resistant to goblins. So yes, I'm mostly just going to keep turning these on until until it looks like we can sell this happily. So many socks. I mean, they're not all socks, they're just mostly socks. Hope I brought enough spare socks up here. Surely that's enough profit by now. I'm going to have to start giving you weird trinkets as well. We've got quite a lot of bone bracelets here. Let's actually check if I've brought any more clothes up first. No, we're now onto a trinket bin. I'm sure we'll get the thing to go green soon. I mean, it's probably enough now already, but let's be generous. We've got the trinkets. Right, that looks good. Hooray! Right. Please take our dead gloves and socks away. Right, so that room is now sealed, so you can't climb out. So if we forbid that again and pull the fill lever again, this time our recruit will have to learn to swim. I recommend you sell your socks to the passing humans. Right, we're still making more bone bracelets, it's fine. So yes, I was going to see, right, someone is actually trying to make the archery targets. Good. I'm sure someone will be along to pull that lever in a bit. Still, that still needs to be linked. I'll wait for that to happen. I think people are learning just about enough fighting skills that they're now technically wrestlers rather than recruits. Down here, it appears to give you a slightly different shade of grey. By having novice wrestler skill. as well as dabbling spear dwarf from practicing spearing things. Do you actually have a weapon somewhere in that lot? Shield spear, yes, good. Jeez. Right, and now this annoyingly climby, not that they actually have any climbing skill yet, but they seem to be able to do it. Recruit may actually learn to swim.
It was just this entire route is the benefit of one dwarf who refused to learn to swim.
Yes. I mean, benefit in that I won't accidentally vaporise them. Sorry, possibly I mean evaporate them. That one somehow ended up suspended, which makes me worry that there's something weird about that. Oh right, yes, that scroll is forbidden. Let's unforbid the scroll. Then maybe someone will move it. So then what kind... Oh, right. Then we can, I suspect, set up an archery range here. Right. And then I think that must set the direction in which you're shooting. So we obviously want them to shoot northwards. And then we can say that the oceanic calm and the fountains of gravel are allowed to train there and see what happens. Right, that book has now been put back in the library where it belongs. So that did get suspended again in the time it took that to happen. So yes, apparently the goblins will remember where some of their number have died and try to avoid going that way again. Now,
Are they going to, the first set of new goblins going to remember where all the pre-upgrade goblins?
That's a good question. Simon asks if the next batch of goblins will remember where the previous batches of goblins have died. I think not, because they died in a different version of the game, which probably didn't remember such things. Though admittedly, ghosts do tend to come back where they died, so possibly the game does remember the locations of deaths anyway.
But if you were going to get ghosts of goblins who had tried to invade the fortress, there would be ample opportunity for that to happen.
Yes. So my kind of hope is that the goblins will remember where their numbers have died and remember that they've all died in this area here. And so they will carefully avoid walking through the water, which is fine because we have them walk above the water instead. And so they will not consider that walking over that bridge is dangerous because, well, no one dies while they're on the bridge. Don't know if this is going to work, but we'll see.
I suppose because it's not officially a trap from the game's point of view.
Yes.
It's not an object with trap in the name.
And like they'll know that some places are dangerous. What thus worries me is that they will learn that these traps are dangerous and will try to avoid them. Sorry, let's wave at those traps where you can see them. No, you still can't see them and I can't scroll far enough. Damn it, these traps are dangerous. And since you can only get over the goblin drowning machine by passing through them, they might start not going through the goblin drowning machine because it would require them to go through these terribly dangerous traps afterwards. So I'll have to, I might have to remove some of the traps in order to... Now I'm wondering, yes, but removing the traps might not help. In that maybe they'll remember the traps even when the traps aren't there. Oh dear. We might have to start deliberately trying to make it look safe to go somewhere. Somehow say to the goblins. Look, it is safe to go that way. Right, up to adequate swimmer now. I mean, we'll leave you in there until you get thirsty, probably.
I mean, you could publish a tourist brochure if you want goblins.
I mean, the game has tourist brochures, so more or less. Right, so now we have an archery range here, which is set up to be for training of dwarves in the correct squads. So we've just got a couple of new steel helmets. Can I go, hello fountains of gravel. Let's have a look at how you're equipped. So you already have a steel helm. Okay, maybe it's going to be too much effort to. Is there a sensible way to see all of a squad's equipment? Don't know that there is. I mean, I can see that they have equipment, and I can go to there and go, "You've got a steel helm." Oh, right, escape works in the sensible way. Everyone in that squad already has exceptional steel helms. This squad has masterwork steel helms. This squad is kind of weird. That squad is the Lardy Larks, who should probably still get armour. Okay, is there anyone who isn't wearing a masterwork steel helm? Well, some of them are wearing exceptional steel helms. You have only an iron helm. You have a rather battered steel helm. So can we force just one person to update their equipment? I don't really want the entire squad to update. There's just one of you that's wearing a rather unimpressive... Well, actually, several of you are wearing unimpressive helmets. I'm going to bonk the update equipment button and see if it helps. No, it doesn't seem to have... that's odd. Oh, well. Oh, 3 new grizzly bears. Excellent. Just train them for war. That might be enough that I might be comfortable actually letting them near the goblins. Right, I think we now have enough steel helms. So let's look at our armour. Oh dear. Our armour situation more generally. So, mail shirts. We have 51 steel mail shirts. They might not all be good, but more than enough of them are good.
More mail shirts than dwarves, which is...
Yes. High boots. We have 99 steel high boots, though at least some of them are forbidden. Let's unforbid them. I mean, I don't know where they are, to be honest. Some of them are quite worn, some of them are quite bad.
99?
Yes.
How many of your dwarves have only one leg?
I don't... some, I think, but I don't usually log that. Don't usually record that the way I record missing hands. We only have 68 gauntlets. We have 70 helms. That's probably enough.
Not many of your dwarves have 2 heads.
No. 1 etin. I think mostly I was trying to get us up to all having masterwork or thereabouts, or at least exceptional helms. So we are actually still short of gauntlets. We are very short of leggings, but that's because I treat leggings as like secondary things, really. Right, so I think we mostly need to forge another about 32 pairs of gauntlets. No, 32 gauntlets, 16 pairs of gauntlets. Let's forge, yeah, there's some fairly grotty ones at the bottom there. Let's forge 20 pairs of steel gauntlets now. No one is making crossbows. I need to work out what's going on there.
They've got all parts except for the twang.
Yeah, I think actually, as I now recall, there is a special bowyer's workshop. So I think we may have to build one of those. Right, we'll make 20 gauntlets. That's a not very helpful wood stockpile in that it has no wood in it. Let's just mine out a little section here next to that wood pile, and we'll stick a bowyer's workshop in it. And let's have that wood stockpile, no, that wood stockpile set to take from that wood stockpile. So I think that's probably sensible. Right, you're getting thirsty, I'll let you out. How's your swimming anyway? Yeah, still only adequate, but adequate is good enough that you won't drown if you fall in the water. You are no longer a duffer. So, are we still linking up that lever? No, that's finished, right. It's probably safe to pull it. Yes, that will release those 3 goblins. And all being well, they will just leave the map. Yeah, that's fine. We're happy for the merchants to leave. Oh yes, bears. Maybe we should just search for war. That gets us our war leopards and our war bears and a warthog. Sorry, a warthog. So those are now trained up to be war leopards, so we can remove them. So those 3 still need to be trained. So that would then take us up to 6 bears, but we probably only want to put 4 of them in the front line, as it were. Which feels maybe slightly too few. I mean, we've also got the leopards, but I kind of assume the leopards are going to be rather soft, really. So, yeah, I'm not wholly confident that 4 leopards is going to... So that will be 4 leopards and 4 grizzly bears. Might be enough. Bit worried while we've got that etin there, though, that the goblins will release the etin, which will then munch its way through all of my animals. Oh, right, we can now take the silent smiths off perpetual training, can't we? Because they don't need to. They were actually only set to train in order to Oh, good. We've got more ravens. This is yes. They were only set to train in order to get that one dwarf to swim. That dwarf should now be taken out of the Silent Smiths and put into a more sensible squad. So that's Stukos re-something. So we should stick them into one of the two new ones. Let's go for... So the Oceanic Calm has 8 members and the Fountains of Gravel has 8 members. Right, doesn't really matter. Oops. Right, so Stukos Thingamy has now become a recruit again and can... Oh, we're out of iron. Right, we may actually have to put some effort into smelting some more iron. But we'll see. What's our current steel pipeline looking like? So we have 4 steel bars available. 11 pig iron. Well, we have got 23 iron bars, so why are you complaining that you set up to draw from an unhelpful stockpile or something? That seems weird. You're not set up to do... What? Let's wait for that cancellation to happen again and then I'll check what it says. So that is properly set up as an archery range for that lot. But do I need to, for instance, make sure they have ammunition? Doesn't seem to be there. I thought I saw something about ammunition. Was that when I... Oh, right. You only get that if we select one of them. Right. Okay, no, that's perfectly sensible. They're set up with some belief that they need ammunition. Do we also need... I mean, they probably don't actually... So that just says bolts to be used for both... I think that must be an on in each case for both combat and training, which is like not unreasonable at this stage, but possibly we should adjust it a bit. If we can we say add ammunition, bolts? Oh, right, that's already there. Material. If we say, can we go beyond metal? Yes, there were specific metals below, weren't there? Have we got? What have we got a stock of anyway? We've got iron bolts and bronze bolts and silver bolts. All right, that's where that extra entry came from. So we could go... Oh no, that seems to have added some bolts to the list for some reason. Is that... All right, those are those bolts, right, I see. So that will now add some more. Oh, let's not... No, that's a perfectly reasonable initial state. We'll fiddle with it later once we understand what's going on. So they do have bolts assigned. Do they need quivers as well? Have you picked up your crossbow? Not yet. Maybe I should try to force them into doing some archery training just to see what happens. And, 'cause, 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 ' Like if I mark them as not meant to train here, why is it that shape? I don't know. So oceanic calm and fountains of gravel should temporarily stop training there. Will that then cause them to move, I wonder? Well, it'll cause them to sleep anyway. Let's just leave that and see what happens. Bloody hell, there's more migrants. Coming in the difficult way this time.
That's because they remember the last. No,
Right. So we've actually got doctors arriving. We don't need new doctors. Right. Probably what I should do. Well, maybe we should add them to the silent smiths for now. I don't know how many there are going to be, of course, if they can't swim already. So you don't know how to swim. Oh, I need a name, don't I? But there may, of course, be far too many of these. Oh, we also have that newly arrived bowyer. I suppose the fact that anyone who's not in a squad is who I need to add. So I don't really need to do this carefully right now. I suppose I should actually confirm that they can't swim, because if anyone turns up with swimming skills, then obviously we can slightly disappointed that's not a raven. Yeah, they're tending to turn up as novice swimmers, which isn't good enough. Got the cheesemaker. Only a novice cheesemaker, sadly. Pink Beast says, I'm waiting for the episode where the infinite food unexpectedly runs out. I mean, our experience is that we can get food reasonably quickly. So I'm not actually very worried about that. I'm more worried about the infinite bedrooms. But I should have far more bedrooms than the number of people we can get, because we do have the population cap set at only 100 now. So that's the silent smiths filled up for now. I think actually what I should do, since we'll be able to tell that the people who aren't in a squad are the ones who still need to learn how to swim. Let's have the silent smiths. All right, yes, put the silent smiths back into full-time training. That's the oceanic calm. We want the silent smiths. And then they'll go into there, and then good, we're getting some nice gauntlets. And yes, then we can train up the next batch. We only got 8 new, a few new. So the population stabilised at 58, that would be nice. Yes, it looks like it. Right, good. So, looks like that's the fountains of gravel and the oceanic thingamy, oceanic calm, are still all training here, even though they're not meant to. Possibly because...
Of having enough military support that you have trouble remembering all their names.
Yes.
Getting more migrants.
That's an odd complaint. Wonder what it means.
Two-handed sword in one hand.
Possibly.
One-handed sword in two hands.
Probably not. We should close that drain while we wait for the dwarves to arrive. Oh, and have we successfully released those goblins? Yes. And I think they must have just left the map because we have no combat logs waiting for our perusal. Right, so now let's have a look at our cages and see if any of them still contain goblins. Yes, there is our one remaining goblin cage. So now I want to work out where it is. And this is going to be a slightly tedious process, I fear. We can find out what Z level it's on pretty easily, but then it just gets kind of centered on the screen, and I don't know how to... Possibly I could work this out by having some way of marking the center of the screen, but let's do it a different way. It's on this Z level. It contains a goblin sword, swordsman, and I think it's somewhere in the sea, but I'm not sure. So what I'm going to do, it's currently not forbidden, so I'm going to mark as forbidden. We don't really care about everything that's in the sea, but let's mark as forbidden. Actually, we should do it a bit further up as well. All of the things, broadly speaking, in the sea. Right, now we're going to look and see if that goblin cage is now forbidden. Did we hit it with that sweep? We did. Good. Right. So now let's try unforbidding things that are to the east of the easternmost bedroom. Has that unforbidden it? No, right. Let us try unforbidding everything that is to the north of the northernmost bedroom. Has that unforbidden it? No, right. So that tells us it's in that fairly small rectangle there. So let's keep going. Let's now pick off everything to the north of that easternmost. So I can't remember which I treated as the easternmost bedroom. So let's go for everything to the north of those 2 bedrooms there. That still hasn't unforbidden it. Right, let's pick off another bedroom. That still hasn't unforbidden it. This is me getting slightly worried I've got something wrong here. Let's take another stripe out one more bedroom's width, though it's not quite a bedroom at the relevant place. So now right, that has unforbidden it, so we know it's somewhere in these far, I think actually the 3 columns of this bedroom plus the one to the left of it. So now we will forbid everything in the left 2 columns of that. And then check. That has forbidden it again. So now we know it's in the left 2 columns. Let's unforbid the right one of those 2 columns. It's still forbidden. That means it's in this this column, which is the left wall. Aha! Hiding underneath an arrow. There is a goblin cage. Right.
Meanwhile, ILC is getting very confused by the biomechanics, but then
Pigmeat asks, if the goblin cage is in the sea, why haven't they drowned? Yes, the cage protects them. Maybe the goblin is breathing through the arrow. I think we just have extremely high surface tension. Right, so we now know where that cage is. It's just to the south of the great big capital B. That's nice and easy to find. Obviously, we need to do something about this because we don't want that goblin that poor goblin to be living down there forever. If we punch a hole, if we drop something on it like we did with the previous goblin, though, it will punch a hole and drop the entire sea into this layer of mines, and then down into that layer of mines, and that will be highly embarrassing. So what we first need to do is to reinforce the sea floor underneath so that we won't end up flooding parts of the fortress. Dizzyat asks, what is the goblin eating? The answer is goblins don't eat. Goblins, like elves, rather curiously, even though elves I think bring food with them, don't actually need to eat in order to stay alive. And are generally immortal.
apart from weapon trap,
Yes. I mean, have
other goblins.
yes, are immortal in the sense that they aren't born already having their dates of death determined. Apparently, each dwarf actually has a hidden date on which they will drop dead if nothing happens to them before.
The date of death reminded me of previous episode of Captives.
Elves photosynthesize, possibly. So, right, we have more leopard cubs, excellent. So what I need to do then is to find this square and below it build a wall. So that then if we cause a cave in above it, it won't punch a hole through the floor of the seabed. And then I'm probably going to be paranoid and build a wall around the wall.
So you can wall while you wall.
Actually, I think mostly I'm going to be paranoid and build a wall below it. And simply because I happen to be in that mode, they was both going to be built out of microcline. So yes, we might be getting close to the point where we have an adequate number of war animals. So you seem to have a lot of moderately unhappy dwarves. This isn't very good. Possibly because they're in continuous military training. I suspect that isn't actually very cheering. They still like the bedrooms though. So yes, I'm still slightly confused by why no one is coming up here to train. You say it has two archery squads assigned, and they do have suitable weapons assigned, though they don't necessarily seem to be picking them up. So right, you're beginning to learn fighting skills at least. And you have a weapon whose name is Rovot Zathud, but you don't have a, you're not actually carrying a crossbow yet. Oh yes, we were going to build a bowyer's workshop, weren't we? Right. That will then mean we can at least make some wooden crossbows, which will be lighter for people to carry around. Now, don't we have a new batch of boss names that are meant to be engaging in constant training, and like none of them have actually turned up for their training? That seems unfortunate. Quite a lot of people seem to be sleeping, though. Maybe that's reasonable. Right, so we've now built the pillar that will catch the sea, that will stop the sea coming in. Do I build a wall around it because I'm feeling scared? I'm not feeling that scared. It'll be fine, he says optimistically. I mean, to be fair, if we do let the sea in here, though, it will be very bad. I mean, it won't. We've got drains. It's just it will be very hard to stop it getting out. But no, I'm confident we can get this right. So what we then have to do is to build a kind of jetty all the way out here. So that's solid, isn't it? Yes. No, I don't want a wall. I want a floor. We want it to go out to there. Right, so that will take a little while because it'll have to be built one square at a time. Aha, I think my new dwarves are now coming for their swimming lessons. So let's wait for a reasonable number of them to arrive and then not wander off again. Where are you going? Oh, you're the mayor. Surely you already know how to swim. Yes. I mean, you haven't practiced it recently, so possibly it would be a good idea if we did give you swimming lessons. Oh yes, you're one of the two people who are in that squad, merely so you're nominally in the military.
And if that means the occasional unexpected swimming lesson, well,
Yes.
then it works.
Here's the first of the dwarves building our jetty. But yes, those are going to have to be serialised because each square they'll only conclude that as each square can be built after they've after the previous one has been constructed. Right, that's two more dwarves coming. We will wait a bit longer. Right, one square built. Right, here's someone else coming. I will wait a bit longer. Oh, now two of them have left again. What are you going to do? You've decided you need more equipment, have you? So I am afraid the ridiculous goblin cage removal procedure will take a little while because it has to be built very slowly. The dwarves are just annoying me at this point, going in and out of this swimming pool. I'm fairly sure they do it deliberately because they know it teases. Right, second square of the pier being built. Right, I'm going to declare that to be an adequate number of dwarves in the swimming, ready for their swimming lessons. And give them some water to play with. Right, and now they are all wet and can start learning to swim. Several dwarves are going, hang on, I was meant to be in there.
That's because you were faffing.
Yes, I'm afraid you will have to wait. But you're now in a lardy-lark situation where you have to find something else to fill your time with while you're waiting for the swimming pool to be available again. So there are no settings on archery targets themselves, it looks like. Looks like it is just done through the archery range. So there's something about the schedule that they're on. It just says train. At least 10 of you should be so just trying to remember how this works. All right, that's how you add a new order, and that's the training order, and that does just say train. It's no more complicated than that. Right, if we look at some of the more complicated ones, we might find that the orders are a bit more complex than just train, but train does seem to be a pretty simple order. So they are not yet swimming capable. We are now 4 squares out into the sea. The leopards, we have a lot of cubs, but none of them have grown up recently, and the grizzlies similarly are now all trained for war, so we can deassign their trainers. So we can put 4 grizzly bears and 4 leopards, I think, at the moment in the welcoming area. Thank you. What's going on with this? Is this still... No, it's not suspended. Slightly surprised there isn't someone walking out there with another block that I can immediately see.
Made the lemmings shrug and went back.
Yeah. Right, we are now making some tolerable wooden crossbows. So possibly we should update the Oceanic Calm and the Fountain of Gravel to... change generic crossbow to wood crossbow so that they'll be lighter. So that was what it was called? No, oh, I've got 2 Marks Dwarfs things now. Well, let's make it that one. Right. How are you doing at learning to swim? Not done yet. So, 5. Someone was going out there, we just didn't spot them. I think I'm going to decide that, oh dear, that 8 animals is not quite enough to reliably defeat the next batch of goblins. Plus we kind of, on the one hand, we kind of want to see how the goblins do, given their new abilities. On the other hand, possibly we want to thus be slightly over-equipped for defeating them, just in case. So let me check. This square is over, that square which contains a goblin cage is over that square which contains a pillar, is over that square which contains a pillar, is over solid rock. So I'm reasonably convinced this will work. What's that complaint about? Cancels make steel bars, need 1 iron bars in linked stockpile. But the place where you're meant to be making those steel bars does not have any linked stockpiles. This is what is confusing me. But maybe... Right, that's... I think it's that sometimes that job gets scheduled in the wrong smelter, and the other smelters have linked stockpiles. Right, that makes sense. You just re-equipped yourself. What are you wearing now? That's a smelter, it's not helpful. It'll do. Oh, apparently you attach your bill and flask to your leggings. I suppose that kind of makes sense. Oh, are we actually out of coal? I didn't check the coal situation. Oh, right, we may need to pay attention to that at some point. Maybe not right now. Right, someone coming out to build another section of the pier. There, 2 more to go, and then we will cut the end off the pier, and hopefully this will neatly destroy our 1 remaining goblin. Let's just check, how do they appear? So if we look here, we have 1 invader brackets caged, also a caged guest in the form of an Etin, and 1 uncaged guest, and an awful lot of bees. Also quite a lot of peregrine falcons. I mean, we could put some effort into training them again. You're an adequate swimmer. How is the swimming going for everyone in here? Let's go through everyone who's in this room and see if they can all swim yet. Yes. 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 You've been able to swim for ages. Yes. And yes, right, okay. So you should now join one of our existing squads, I think, until they're full. So you moral council pick. Can go in there. And you Moses guilt healers can go in there. And then in the fountains of gravel we have 1 remaining position. So you, locum double walled, can take that position. Right, so that's those squads filled, and they are currently in like reasonably thorough training. So now let's create another squad. We need to, I think, do we need to appoint the commander first? I can't remember. No one has any relevant skills at all. Possibly we should take someone who actually has some military skills in general, but then we are going to have to like backfill that place later. Actually, what we should do is we should take one of the people we want to have in this squad. Udib Kobel Muthkat, who is currently, just to confirm, in the Silent Smiths. Udib. So we can go, no, not that one, that one. We can't search this. This is annoying. Yeah, I think they were the wrong Udib. I think. Oh, did I mean Udil Kobel Muthkat? There's definitely a Kobel Muthkat. I think I was useless at remembering the name, and I meant Udil Kobel Muthkat. Right. Let's check. Yes. I remembered kind of remembered the wrong name. Right, so then we can add locum. Now we need. Can we now create a squad for them? Yes. Should they be more Marks dwarves? No, let's not try to turn everyone into Marks dwarves, in case it gets confusing. They're currently called Mountainous Magic. The Mountainous Magicians. I mean, that is a good name, but it's not very wet.
The wet mountain of magicians.
First adjective. No, we've already. Second adjective. I mean, obviously, I'd like it to begin with an M if we can find a wet M. I mean, you could have the Mountainous Molten Magicians, but that's the wrong way round. Mountainous Muddy Magicians? Yes. I'm now confused about adjective ordering.
Yes.
Muddy obviously comes before mountainous, but I don't know how mountainous and rainy go. Obviously salty comes before mountainous.
Oh, that's salty.
But we've already got some salty, yes. Or you could have silty. Stormy mountainous magicians. I like that. I mean, strictly storms aren't necessarily of the sea, but right. So we'll make this one. Make the second adjective mountainous. If we can.
Are you not allowed to use it twice?
Maybe I'm not allowed to use it twice. Maybe I need to make the first adjective stormy first. There was also deep there. I quite like the idea of deep mountainous magicians, but stormy rainy is definitely wrong. No, we can't have mountainous as the second adjective. How annoying.
They are constraining your adjective order.
Yes, but wrongly. Right, we'll go back to mountainous for this one then. It's gone. I can't set it back to mountainous. What?
How come you're only a tiny...
Oh, maybe they're not in alphabetical order. That would be unhelpful.
Well, in that case, try the second one again.
Yes. There we go. Right. They're not in alphabetical order in English for some reason. Right. The Stormy Mountainous Magicians. What was I doing with them anyway?
There's a few more dwarves in them, I think.
I think so, yes. So they want to gain...
Whoever's left.
So that's locum Gukutadil.
That's Fountains of Gravel.
You're right. That's not the right person. Well, we'll.
I mean, you did have a squad of like 3, so maybe that's all right.
Yes, true. If they're in the Fountains of Gravel, that's also correct. One of the people I probably want to move. Zuntir. Close that. What? I think I've just done something terribly confusing because I meant to click in there first. Right. And you two, I've already been moved, which is why you're no longer military. So I think that's actually set up now. And we should let them all out. And drain the water out. So that the next batch will be willing to go in and probably close the roof as well. Right. That faff is now done. penultimate
The penultimate pier builder.
pier. Right, one more to go. Right, so we have a couple more dwarves who can't swim in there. Is anyone else coming along? Or should we lock them in? How many are there anyway in that? I suppose we could now add more new arrivals to the Silent Smiths, given that we now have some gaps. If we can find them. If there are any new arrivals, there weren't that many of them, I suppose. Doesn't seem actually that we have anyone who isn't already in the military. Right, good.
Scrolling was weird when you scrolled up.
Oops.
Scroll all the way down and then up again. And look at the bottom.
Yes, yes. I think that some of the words end up being copied slightly confusedly. I fear that Dwarf Fortress may be using its very own GUI toolkit, well, kind of GUI toolkit, and the code quality, or at least the implementation, may not be as polished as you might hope.
I think part of the problem is, in this sort of environment, the horrible edge cases come up much more often.
Yes. Right, so I think that means we've already put everyone who needs to be in the Silent Smiths in the Silent Smiths. We'd probably quite like to have more than 2 untrained swimmers before we flood the room again. So we'll leave them a little while and see what happens. Right, meanwhile our pier is complete. So I think what we now want to do is to remove that square, which will cause that one to plummet through, well, plummet far enough down to hit that goblin and not penetrate the floor, because there's a pillar below it and a pillar below that and solid rock below that. I think actually only one pillar is necessary, but like I'm not in a mood for risking it. So I do that and remove construction. And then we hope that one of our designated miners is available.
Just hope they walk all the way up the end.
And then do it leftwards. They should be able to swim though.
Good point.
So all being well, even if they do that, as long as they fall slower than the thing that they've just cut off, they should survive. Oh, come on. Do we not have any useful miners? Do I need to assign some more miners? Right, we've got 2 people who can mine. Kol Shemezum and Astholethal. One of them is picking up their equipment. The other one is asleep. Actually, I can say... Oh no, they're coming. Right. That's now flashing, which indicates that that someone is on their way. Here they are. Right, so hope this works. Right, there is an enormous spleesh, and I observe that the sea is still where we left it.
Where is the miner?
That's a good question. So, that pillar is still intact. That square does not have... there is our miner. That's quite bad. Can you make it to the surface from there? No, because you're unconscious. Oh dear. Curses! Yes, something has collapsed. I'm well aware of this. Right. Well, you're going to have to come round pretty quickly if you're going to live. I'm not sure I can do much about it, though. Yes, but I've drowned one of my legendary miners.
And Chief Medical Dwarf.
And the Chief Medical Dwarf. That's not a very important role, frankly. That's very sad. No longer unconscious. Can you swim to the surface, though? I think maybe in water this deep, being able to swim might not be enough. When you're moving horizontally, how about you go up? Up would be a really good direction to go in. Nope. Can't save you. You tried, but still, we now should now have no goblins left. Yes, so I should remember that cave-ins, even small cave-ins on the surface, are still quite exciting experiences. And we should not allow dwarves to be somewhere where they might drown while they're causing cave-ins. Important thing to remember for next time. Though we kind of hope there won't be a next time. Right, we better appoint a new Chief Medical Dwarf. It doesn't really matter who it is, to be honest. Our other miner. And we should also appoint a new miner. No one else actually knows how to mine, though, so we'll just make it a random new recruit. Right, I think that is probably the slightly sad time at which to... oh, we're going to want a memorial to them, aren't we? Because we'll never get that corpse back. I've already forgotten their name. Cole Shemazum. Right. Right, we might be able to stop them being a ghost. Right, we have 3 trainee swimmers there, so let's close the drain and then drop some water on them. That's a very silly message. Cancel store item in bin, unconscious, and shortly afterwards drowned.
Presumably the item they were going to store in the bin was the equipment they'd now finished with after destroying the...
It was the blocks that they had just removed from the end of the pier. Pink Bee says, rest in peace, someone whose name I've forgotten. Well, this is why we carve memorials, so that we don't forget their names, you see. Right, and now we can flood that with water. And 3 more dwarves will learn how to swim. And I'm going to have to work out how archery targets work in this version. There we we are, 3 dwarves learning how to swim. So yes, what I probably should have done there is made it safe to collapse the entire pier, which would have meant like building a solid wall under here. And then we could have done it from the shore. And then our stunned dwarf would probably have ended up just falling onto the shore and would have lived. Right, those 3 are happily learning to swim. We have made a bunch of crossbows. Right, let's go back to one of our crossbow squads. No, not their name. The equipment page, and do an explicit update equipment on them.
Right, didn't.
And so now they actually have wooden, mostly willow crossbows assigned to them. Though I'm not sure they're picking them up yet. Maybe we should ask the Oceanic Calm to station themselves somewhere and see if they organise their equipment better like that. So what are these? Is that ammunition then? So that doesn't seem to mention quivers or other such. So I assume that's the weapon, that's the ammunition, and that's the drink, and that's the food. I'm not sure what that is. That's a toy symbol, so it's clearly not actually a toy. We do have supplies buttons for saying, remember to take some food and some drink with you. So you've come out here. Does that mean you think you've got all your equipment? Have you got all your equipment? Yes, you now have a crossbow and a battle axe and a quiver with some bolts in it. So that looks like they're actually equipped now, which might help with being able to train crossbow usage. Right, so that's interesting. Right, am I going to leave that order in place? No, because that will confuse me next time. Let's cancel that order for now, but it does look like if they're given a chance, they will at least equip all the necessary bits. Just see if they now that they have the right equipment, will go to the right place as well, but I doubt it. How are you doing at learning to swim, you guys? Oh, you're competent. Hang on, so we'll do the rightmost one. Are you competent? You're competent. The middle one, still only dabbling. Okay, one of you should probably not have been here in the first place. novice. Right, yeah, we'll leave that a bit longer. Right, okay, I think it is time for us to wind up for the day. And we'll be back on Sunday, where probably we'll get to see our, given it's late summer, yes, we will get to see our first of the new style sieges. And there isn't a grizzly bear in the library anymore. There was a moment ago. Because yes, we haven't quite run on far enough to get to see a siege yet. It will probably be coming in about a month in game time. So yes, we'll see you then. Until then, I will say save and good night.